So good afternoon and welcome. My name is Charlene Green, and I'm the co-facilitator of the Communities of Practice at the Center for a Diverse Healthcare Workforce. Additionally, I'm also the director for the Office of Student and Resident Diversity at UC Davis School of Medicine. I'd like to introduce you to my co-MC, Mark Simon, and he'll tell you a little bit more about himself.
Thank you. That's okay. All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome. Thank you very much for coming out. As Charlene said, I'm Mark Simon. I am the owner and the principal consultant at Storywalkers Consulting. I've had the privilege of working with folks at the UC Davis School of Medicine for the last 5 or 6 years to help design a variety of projects that we most of the time were able to get funding for. And in the case of launching the Center for a Diverse Healthcare Workforce, which you'll hear about shortly from Dr. Fancher, I also have had the benefit of co-facilitating the community of practice. As a consultant, I work with nonprofits across California on a variety of areas ranging from strategic planning to facilitation and grant funding, which I very much love. Particularly, I love having the chance to work with the diversity and inclusion efforts at UC Davis. And I want to tell you just a little bit about what we've been up to with this community of practice. As you may be aware, in the world of health and medicine and nursing, there's a tremendous amount of dedication and ambition among both the people that study to work in those professions and the professionals who help to keep us all healthy. And similarly, among people at our universities and various other institutions who work to advance diversity and inclusion, there's also a tendency to be very passionate and highly focused. But with all that dedication in the work across these realms, diversity and inclusion, health, medicine, nursing, that dedication often translates into individuals or small teams working quite independently and often in silos. And this community of practice has come into being for the purpose of bringing together many of these incredibly hardworking teams to be in conversation with one another. So these slides that are on loop behind Charlene and I, these name the 22 various programs, departments, institutions that have been meeting together on at least a monthly basis for the last year for the purpose of building linkages across our programs in the name of diversifying the healthcare careers pathway. And what we've discovered in this work early on, we surveyed our potential participants, and we found out that at UC Davis, main campus here in Davis, and at the health campus in Sacramento, that there are programs currently in place to serve every developmental stage that leads up to becoming any kind of health practitioner. We've got programs targeting middle school students, high school students, community college, undergrad, graduate level work, PhD students, residents. However, there have been very limited linkages between them. And so we set out to create this community of practice. And what we sought to do was to establish a commitment to have the time, the trust, and the tools to meet together. Those are my 3 T words that I came up with this morning. I was very proud of that, so I'll repeat it again. I have them in bold. It's the only thing bolded. Time, trust, and tools. That's what I believe has made this community of practice effective. And what allows these series of conversations to take place in a way that actually had meaning and led up to something. So we had about 30 people from these 22 programs come together. 2 out of every 3 months, we'd meet via video conference. Once a month, we'd come together in person, and we assembled 5 teams. And these teams brought people from differing programs and departments to work together to design programs that they thought would be, design projects, that they thought would be valuable, and then to carry them out. And so what you're going to see tonight, after a couple words of welcome from some key leaders on each of our campuses, are a very quick synopsis of the projects that were designed and have begun to be implemented. And I want to underscore begun because this event tonight is a transition point and not an ending point. These projects, as you'll see, are in a position to take off now. And even this night itself is meant to spur more conversation amongst all of us here. And with that, Charlene?
So I don't have something that long, but just wanted to provide a little context about the event. So the purpose of this event is to celebrate the work of our communities of practice, or COP, as we affectionately call it, and really look at the work that we've accomplished for this past year. And we also want to just share that work with you because we're so proud of it. And we really hope that it will inspire continued efforts and more action towards a diverse healthcare workforce.
Awesome. All right, so before we launch into any kind of presentations, we want to give you the tiniest taste of what we do, which is that we create the conditions for people to be in conversation with one another. As you'll see in a moment, this conversation that I'm going to invite you into will be very brief and will have very little to do with health and medicine, although it may step into the territory of nutrition. So what I want to ask you to do is to find a neighbor, or perhaps two, and just take a moment to share your thoughts in response to this question. What is a food that you loved to eat as a child, but that now, as a grown-up, you seldom or even never eat any longer? So I'll say that again. Something that you loved back in the day, but now you either avoid it outright or you just don't have it very often. And if for some reason you cannot think of anything at all that meets that criteria, because we don't have time for you to sit around and wait, if there's anything that you loved as a child and you still eat all the time today, that's your backup. So take a minute or two, talk amongst yourselves, and then we'll come on back. To 47. They're trickling. All right. So those of you who have not been part of our community of practice, I can tell from the last couple minutes, you are absolutely ready to join us. You are prime candidates. And again, in our community of practice way, before rolling on, I just want to see if there are one or two folks out there that want to share what popped into your head with this question. Obviously not the full answer, but just in a word or two. Anything? Anyone? Yes? Dr. Henderson.
I used to eat hamburger helper almost every week, and I haven't eaten it since I was 15.
All right, hamburger helper. Yes, period.
We had a very healthy family. Everything was health food. So I craved Skippy peanut butter. Ate it whenever I could as a kid, even snuck it as an adult. I don't eat it now because it's not really food. It's a food-like substance.
Gotcha. Yes?
Dill pickles and powdered Kool-Aid.
Together. Wow. Dill pickles and powdered Kool-Aid. All right. On that note,